Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Our teacher for this week is Kahn. And the topic that he speaks to us about this morning is honesty. And how honesty is somewhat lacking. And it might change your view on honesty as well, the way that he speaks about it. What exactly does that mean? What does honesty mean, and how can we have more honest conversations? Hey somebody, good morning. Awesome seeing you. So this is how Kahn speaks about honesty. He says, one of the most commonly overlooked spiritual practices is daring to be completely honest with everyone we encounter. He calls daring to be completely honest a spiritual practice. And I think he's really got a point. He says, some may say that others can't handle their honesty. Hey Stephen, a very good morning to you. I love seeing you pop in. I hope you're well. So I get back to these words. He says that some may say others cannot handle their honesty. However, true honesty is not a strategy. It's not a weapon of any kind. It's the willingness to be open and absolutely transparent in sharing how any moment feels in your heart. It has nothing to do with confrontation, accusation, or any form of blame. True honesty is the willingness to stand completely exposed, allowing the world to do what it may and say what it will, only so that you may know who you are beyond all ideas. Charlene, a very good morning. And Linda, good morning. And Anthony, good morning. It's awesome seeing you all. On the same theme, Kahn says, when someone says words that may not feel good in your body, seem sarcastic in tone, and are meant to judge versus uplift you, this only offers you greater opportunities to raise the vibration of your response. By responding to anyone's criticism with love, compassion, and acceptance, you are stepping forward as a master of relationships to create your own experiences, which has nothing to do with how anyone treats you. Responding to the world with this kind of open and sincere honesty is rare. Even having truly honest conversations between friends is not that common when we feel that we always need to wear a mask so that we are perceived in a certain way. True honesty has less to do with pointing out to others what they do wrong, and a lot more to do with sharing from our own side with transparency what it is that we're experiencing. Just imagine being able to approach difficult conversations with something like, I can clearly see that it wasn't your intention to hurt me by what you said, although I still can't help but feel attacked. I'm trying not to feel this way, but I'm struggling to put it down right now. I'll remind you of how Kahn describes honesty. He says, true honesty is not a strategy or a weapon of any kind. It is the willingness to be open and absolutely transparent in sharing how any moment feels in your heart. It has nothing to do with confrontation, accusation, or any form of blame. True honesty is the willingness to stand completely exposed, allowing the world to do what it may and say what it will, only so that you may know who you are. This kind of sincere honesty is disarming because it doesn't attack the other. Instead, it shares itself with transparency and creates a space in which honesty is the obvious way forward for all involved. This level of honesty requires the removal of the old masks that I used in the past to hide what I really feel. And this is hard to do while I'm living deep in survival mode. Today's meditation journey is a reminder of some of the masks we wear and of where we might have picked up some of these masks. And when we have a deeper understanding of why and when we close up and wear a mask to not expose how we really feel, then we become empowered to choose in moments to perhaps not wear that mask, perhaps be, in a very sincere way, honest about where I'm at the moment. So if you're ready, let's walk down that journey. You can close your eyes and let's float away together, starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, feel yourself grow, feel yourself expand from your core outwards in all directions. And once you've reached your full heights, then again let all of it go. As you breathe out, soften. With every exhale, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and even drop your head. When we live deep in survival mode, then our dominant part of our autonomic nervous system is the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight part of our nervous system. And when we're living deep in survival mode, this nervous system really wants to give us access only to things that'll help us fight or run. And this is when an attempt at honesty comes over as an attack. I'll show you where you are wrong. And that's really because I'm being defensive. And I'm in a place where the only things I can see is how to either run or fight. It takes us really doing our own work, finding ways to soften, regulate our nervous system so that we more often have more access to our parasympathetic nervous system, the calm side. And realize in moments where we may feel like we're being attacked, that we have access to the calm side too. My parasympathetic nervous system gives me access not only to thoughts of fighting and running, but also to thoughts of connecting and sincerity and creatively looking at how to find a solution to this problem. And now honesty can come across more like, here is how I feel, and this is why I think I feel this way, without blaming you for making me feel this way. I can take responsibility for the way I feel, and then from an empowered space, take the steps to figure out how to respond in the healthiest way. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles, going forward and to the left and forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Lean your upper body to the left and lean your upper body over to the right. Dipping your left shoulder towards your left hip and then dipping your right shoulder towards your right hip. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence as much as we are able to, at least, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. And if you don't have the time to sit through the whole meditation with us, then this is a really good place to stop. However, if you are here for the whole journey, we'll take the next few big breaths together. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body and invite softness to follow. Feel how softness settles in every muscle of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. Feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throats. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, I want to remind you, and I want you to remind yourself of how far you've come, all the work you've already done, all the growth you've already shown. Take your next big breath. We're going to take a walk backwards through time to remind ourselves of those moments where we developed the habit of putting on a mask, those moments in which we learned to hide how we really feel. The point of this exercise is not to cast blame on the humans that made us feel bad, and also not to blame ourselves for our own weakness. Simply to form an understanding of what it is to be human. To feel the need to protect oneself and pick up some kind of a coping mechanism that makes the world feel a little bit safer. We'll start all the way back at some of our earliest memories, with our first caregivers, likely our parents. And can you remember an example from your very young life where your parents made you feel like you're not going to be accepted the way you are? You'll have to show up somewhat differently in order to be accepted, in a way that made you feel like you have to hide how you feel. You have to put on a mask in order to be accepted. Take your next big breath. For the moment, you can remove that mask and gently put it on the floor next to you. Once again, the exercise is not to blame those that made you feel a certain way, but it's an attempt at being reminded, becoming aware in future when we reach for these masks. I'd love to know and clearly see when I feel the need to put on a mask to hide how I feel. We'll take a step further along this line. In our young lives, we often spend some time with other young kids. These might be our siblings, our cousins, the neighbors' kids. Do you remember a moment with these children in your young life? A moment where some of them made you feel like the way you are is not acceptable, and you'll have to show up differently in order to be accepted. Take your next big breath. And for now, you can take that mask off and gently place it on the floor next to you. Our teachers in our young lives, of course, play a huge role in how we see ourselves. Can you remember a moment with a teacher that made you feel like you're not acceptable the way you are? You'll have to wear a mask and show up differently in order to be accepted. Take your next big breath. You can take that mask off and gently place it on the floor next to you. During our teenage years, we are particularly influenced by friends of a similar age and what they think of us, and do they accept us? Thinking back at yourself in this high school age, can you remember an incident with a friend where it was made clear to you that the way you are is not acceptable, and you'll have to show up differently in order to be accepted. Take your next big breath. You can take that mask off too, and gently place it on the floor next to you. While the biggest influences happened in our young lives, in our adult lives, this tends to not be absent, especially in our very close relationships. The people we really want to be connected to. In any of your adult relationships, can you remember a moment where someone made you feel like the way you are is not acceptable? And that you'd have to show up differently, hide how you feel perhaps? Take your next big breath. You can take that mask off as well, and gently place it on the floor next to you. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath-holding space and into the next. Let's take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release, invite softness to come and settle into every cell of your body. One more big breath in. And hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. For a moment, I want to explore when we're able to take off these masks. What kind of honest conversations will we be able to have? And I want you to join me on this exploration. Can you imagine, in other words, do a mental rehearsal? Can you imagine saying to someone, I can clearly see that your intention was not to hurt me. And sometimes a part of ourselves, a part of our ego might want to say, no, it's not true. I can clearly see she wanted to hurt me. However, try this along with me. Rehearse this sentence. Who would you be saying it to? I can clearly see that your intention was not to hurt me. However, I can't help but also feel attacked. I'm trying not to feel this way. I'm trying to put this down, but I'm struggling right now. I like to call this telling both stories, because there's two things here. They seem kind of opposite. I believe that your intentions are good. Still, I feel hurt. This kind of honest conversation is very disarming. Try it with me one more time. I can clearly see that your intention was not to hurt me. However, I can't help but feel attacked. I'm trying not to feel this way, but I am struggling to put this down right now. How can you follow this up? What comes next? It might be the very honest question. I just want to understand, was your intention to hurt me? Could that turn into a very constructive conversation? I just want to understand, was your intention to hurt me? And now I don't have to play guessing games. I don't have to make assumptions. I can allow a person to say, oh no, that's not what I meant. Or perhaps they say, yes, I was trying to hurt you. And then you know it. You don't have to guess. Or perhaps the safer option might be, I'm struggling to put this down. Can we speak about it again tomorrow? I'll work on how I feel in the meantime. Could you see yourself having this kind of honest conversation? I'll remind you again of how Kahn explains this. He says, one of the most commonly overlooked spiritual practices is daring to be completely honest with everyone you encounter. Some may say that others cannot handle their honesty, but true honesty is not a strategy or a weapon of any kind. It is the willingness to be open and absolutely transparent in sharing how any moment feels in your heart. It has nothing to do with confrontation, accusation, or any form of blame. True honesty is the willingness to stand completely exposed, allowing the world to do what it may and say what it will, only so that you may know who you are. And when someone says words that may not feel good in your body, that may seem sarcastic in tone and are meant to judge versus uplift you, this only offers you greater opportunities to raise the vibration of your response. By responding to anyone's criticism with love, compassion, acceptance, or even just exploring it some more, you are stepping forward as a master of relationships to create your own experiences, which has nothing to do with how anyone treats you. This does, of course, take practice, and it does include getting it wrong and sometimes overreacting and then trying again. It starts with noticing when I feel that I need to put on a mask to hide how I feel, and then saying, I'm going to try doing this without the mask. I'm going to take the mask off, and in the gentlest way possible say how I feel. I can see that it was not your intention to hurt me, although I can't help but feel attacked. I'm trying not to feel this way, although I'm struggling to put it down. Will you give me a bit of time to work on how I feel, and then we talk about this again? What would the world be if we could all have conversations that honestly? We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning to recognize the moments where I feel the need to put on a mask. Take a deep breath in. Thank you. In these moments of awareness, I can see that I have a choice. I can indeed put on the same old mask, hide how I feel, and use that as a way to cope for right now. I can do that. I'm allowed to. Or I can lean in a new direction. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to have conversations that don't need a mask. It can be honest, particularly honest about how I feel. Take a deep breath in. And thank you for learning how to use these honest conversations to also lean into you, to understand what your intention might be and really how you feel. These kind of honest conversations are really disarming, and they bring us closer together rather than push us apart. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. I want you once again to remind yourself of all the work you have already done, how far you have already come. These are always small steps, and sometimes, even though we've done a lot of work, we encounter a situation where the decision is, yes, I'm going to wear this mask. I want you to know that that's okay. We don't have to rip off band-aids. But if you're busy doing your work, you will need that mask less and less. And especially when you become really good at having honest conversations and learn how to tell both stories. This is how I feel, but I can also see how you feel. Or I can see your intention was good, still I'm struggling not to feel hurt. Both things. And the better we get at that, I'll find Matt Kahn's words here again, because he says it well. He says, you are stepping forward as a master of relationships. And I think we can all get there. We can all up our skill and become masters of relationships. Thank you, Sunmani. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Lashna. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Nella. It was good to see you, Charlene. Have a beautiful day. Do you recognize the moments in which you feel the need to put on a mask? Because that's the first really big step. It's just seeing when it happens. You can still choose to use it, but you'll get better at putting it down. Have an awesome day. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.